Like the rule with resumes isn't education goes at the top or education goes at the bottom. The rule with resumes is give them the information they care about most at the top. So if your best selling point for this job is that you took a degree that is directly tied to this job, that's the most relevant thing. That should go at the top. But if you've been working for 5, 10 years, 20 years, probably the most relevant thing that they care about most is the work that you've done. And in that case, that goes to the top. Welcome to Next Job Now,
the podcast where we help you get your next job
right now. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Greg Langstaff. I'm a certified resume strategist. I've written over 2,000 resumes, and I love helping people get new jobs.
And I'm Jeff, and I have a lot of questions about job searching. Together, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about landing your next role. This episode, we're going to talk about your education, your certificates, or any of that kind of additional certifications that you can put on your resume. But when we're talking about this, we're talking education, certifications, we're talking legit formal degrees. Is that right? Or does it have to be credited? Like what's our focus here?
I mean, it all counts, Jeff. When we're talking about what can go in our education section of our resume, this could be reserved for just your formal college, university degrees, diplomas. Mm-hmm. Or we could be lumping in everything we've done. Like if you only have a bachelor's degree and you have a couple certifications and a couple of training courses you've taken, you could put that all in an education section. But if you maybe have a couple of degrees and you want to have those sit on their own, and then you want to have a separate section for certifications and training, that can be its own section. There aren't necessarily rules for how we organize this stuff. There are rules for how we list the exact experiences in our education. But in terms of how we arrange it, we're pretty flexible.
Tell me more about these rules. So what rules do we have when we're listing education?
So the most important rule when we're listing education in our resume is that we have to have finished the degree to list the full name of the credential. So you can say Bachelor of Arts in Professional Writing only if you've completed that degree. If you haven't completed it, you could say Professional Writing Studies at the school, and that's fine. But you can't write that full degree title unless you completed it.
So they see, okay, you're in progress. This is your anticipated graduation date. That's good.
Yeah.
If you didn't finish, so you only made it to 2 years through, life happens.
Yeah.
And we leave. We can still put it on there, maybe, visual arts studies at ABC University.
Yeah.
Would you recommend listing like a couple courses that are kind of relevant to that role? So if I'm applying to like a graphic designer role, then I'm going to say, well, I took, graphic design 101 and then maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing we want people to take away from our education is that we learned stuff, right? So if you took all the courses that mattered for your work that you're doing now, list those. Like it's okay to put bullet points under your education. And one of the common bullet points is relevant courses completed.
In what scenario are we elaborating on education versus just having it there? When are we bringing attention to it?
The most common situation is when you are a student or a new graduate.
Right.
Like for those folks, I would like to see a bullet point about maybe a big capstone project you completed. I would like to see the relevant courses completed bullet point. We maybe even have bullet points about our grade point average or any academic awards we've won, study abroad. Like those are all things for students and new grads to list on their resume under their experience.
And you've also talked about normally, sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit here, but for students in particular, that's the time where education is important because it's going to typically replace professional experience.
Well, yeah, when you don't have a lot of professional experience or none, it is the most relevant thing you've done. Like the rule with resumes isn't education goes at the top or education goes at the bottom. The rule with resumes is give them the information they care about most at the top. So if your best selling point for this job is that you took a degree that is directly tied to this job, that's the most relevant thing. That should go at the top. But if you've been working for 5, 10 years, 20 years, probably the most relevant thing that they care about most is the work that you've done. And in that case, that goes to the top.
So this has nothing to do with ATS scanners and the way it's read. It's about selling yourself and putting the important information where they need it.
Yeah, if you want your education to show up properly in an ATS scanner, just make sure you call that section education.
And then do you have a certain structure that you have to follow, like Bachelor of Arts at university? Now we're not going to include dates because we don't do that.
No dates, which we should talk about now that we brought it up.
Yeah.
So for ATS, you do want a nice clear section that is education or education and training, education and certificates, something standard like that.
Right.
We want our degree listed with its full name, Bachelor of blank, and then the field of study, economics, English, whatever. And then the school's full name, and then maybe the location of the school if you want. No dates.
Why not? You constantly talk about not including dates.
Don't put your graduation date on your resume. They will use that for age discrimination purposes. They will look at what year you graduated. They will assume that you finished your degree when you were 22 years old. They're going to do the math from there. That is a terrible thing you can do on your resume.
So it has nothing to do about like, oh, that schooling is outdated. So it's not recent. It's really about, oh, you graduated that long ago. I can determine your age.
Yeah, because like the schooling being outdated, like no one cares. Most of these companies are hiring who require like a bachelor's degree are doing it because that's what was always done. They don't care if you took a history degree 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. They could care less about what grades you had, what classes you took. They're just checking a box because that's always what's been done, and it's very pointless.
So there's some flexibility in where things go in your resume. So if we're looking at a template, and you're like, well, we have it listed at the bottom. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean we can't cut that and put it up top.
Yeah. Like you'll find on my website, greglangstaff.com, we have lots of great ATS optimized resume templates. All of them pretty much have education at the bottom. Just copy and paste that section and put it above the experience if that's most relevant to you. Very easy to do.
Now, you mentioned earlier, we can put education and certificates. Can this be non-college, non-university boot camps? Google certifications, LinkedIn Learning. Is there any criteria to put in the education section?
Not necessarily. Like we love certificates. We love boot camps. Even like Coursera and LinkedIn Learning. Those are great as well. Now, what I would do is like if you have some properly credentialed degrees, like a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, your CPA maybe, or your project management professional, the PMP, like give those their own area, their own breathing room. And then if you have a bunch of Coursera, LinkedIn Learning certifications or training you completed through your work, like maybe we make that a separate section, additional training. Like additional training would be throw anything in there that you've done.
Professional development, like workshops, online classes, online courses. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. And like that's the kind of stuff we keep separate if we have a ton of it. Again, if you only have one degree, 2 trainings like that you want to mention, you can put them all together. Again, it's just about helping people navigate your resume.
If we have a bunch of certifications and we want to list them, do we list everything we've ever done? Or do we only list things that are no longer expired, that are not expired? So active certifications.
Prioritize active certifications. But if you have, say, if you have a certification that is expired, but it's super relevant. Let's say I was going to manage the water park that I used to work at.
Okay.
I don't have my lifeguarding certification anymore. I don't even have an active CPR. But I might want to mention that I had those and that they are expired. And I'd be very clear in brackets, this is expired.
Mm-hmm.
To show that I know how that stuff works. I've been in that environment. I could manage people with that. And if need be, I could go get that training again. I've done it before. Like, that's better than nothing.
Okay.
Can I speak on something else that, like, that question kind of prompted?
Please.
So you said, like, what should we include
Yeah.
in terms of our training and certifications? I have to talk about LinkedIn Learning for a second.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn Learning, I like it. I love it, actually.
I love it.
Yeah. Like, you can get all these certificates in like an hour or two. Awesome. Or like go deep on something, like a 5, 6, 8 hour course and like really know it. And I've learned stuff from LinkedIn Learning that has really helped me in my jobs. There is a LinkedIn Learning problem, which is the easy access to this information, to the certificates, to the training, has some people going a lot overboard. And I've had to talk clients down off of this ledge of including 75 LinkedIn Learning certifications on their LinkedIn profile, in their resume. Like, it cheapens it. You lose so much value from having 40 LinkedIn Learning certificates. Suddenly, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's nice you're a lifelong learner, but I may as well be listing every podcast episode I've ever listened to on this industry.
That's a interesting point. Is there a way that you would recommend reframing? Is there anything else when we're thinking about our additional certifications, I know we've touched on hobbies in previous episodes. Mm-hmm. Your point has always been, if the hobby can add value to your resume because it might proactively address concerns. So like if you're an active hiker and your age is being in question, to show that like, oh, I'm an active, healthy person, maybe you can include a hobby. But what other sections are there in a resume?
So we don't list hobbies in our resume, with 2 exceptions. If your hobby is so cool that someone's going to bring it up and ask you about it every single time, yes. The other example of a time when it's okay to add a hobby to your resume is if you are concerned about age discrimination and your hobby is a healthy, active lifestyle thing. Mm-hmm. If you have 25 years of experience you need to talk about in your resume and you do triathlons, those should both go in. Because what that triathlon or the other healthy, active hiking hobby says is, I am not going to be gone for like health medical purposes. Now, this is terrible that employers are judging based on this, but we have to know it's in the back of their head, and sometimes it's in the front of their head. Mm-hmm. So we need to just quell those concerns, and that's how we do it.
Yeah, and the only other additional areas that I have listed here are things like publications, if you've been mentioned in news articles,
awards, languages.
Yeah. Now, is this when we're going into a third page, or is this a second page filler?
Like, languages need to be there if it's required for you to speak multiple languages in the job you're applying to.
Okay.
Although, like, you could also take care of that in one little spot in your skills section. Bilingual, brackets, Spanish, like for French, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But awards, I would say, are a priority section. Like,
priority. Don't cut them.
Don't cut awards. Everyone loves an award winner. People like to hire award winners.
I just feel like this is my challenge with awards, is it takes way too much space and real estate on a 2-page resume.
No, I think that should be prioritized.
Where do you format that?
Well, it might be at the end. It might be a section that says awards, and then it's a list of awards. Backup plan, you just put the award as a bullet point under the job when you won the award. Also worthwhile.
So it doesn't need to be its own section. we can integrate awards right into the bullet.
It could be. I like to do it as many times as possible. If I have room, I'll do a bullet point about the award, and then I'll mention it in the award section. And on top of all that, in my frontline like branding, when I'm naming what I am, the line right after your name, I would say award-winning resume writer.
Yeah.
Like award-winning environmental advocate. Like what if you've won awards for your work? Award-winning business development leader. Like call yourself an award-winning this.
Double dip.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid
Triple
to double
dip.
dip. Triple dip. If you won an award, you earned it. It deserves to go on your resume.
Yes.
I like that. Any other additional certifications or things that you think we should prioritize or deprioritize?
I mean, deprioritize experience that's more than 15 to 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have to talk about ageism in this episode. Go listen to the ageism episode, but like your odds of getting a job go up if you do not go past 20 years of experience. I'd say like if you're in a highly technical role, a technical proficiencies section could be worth your while instead of trying to jam all your technical skills into like a key skills section.
Yeah, you have a couple different ways in your templates that do that, where like you can do skills and technical skills, or you would sometimes I see you just list the technical skills separated by a comma.
Yeah.
And you're just like, here you go. And it's at the bottom.
Yeah, because sometimes like if we're highly technical, we don't want to use our key skills section for that.
Right.
Because there's like going to be 30 things we need to list there. So we'll give it its own section.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another section I would include in the resume. Yep.
All right. Perfect. Well, thanks so much. I think it's time for our unusual interview where we ask each other questions that we hope you never get asked. If your life outside of work was graded like a school report card, what subject would you get an A in?
I would hope husbandry.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's my top priority.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you didn't ask me this question and then I wouldn't say being a husband and then I'd feel bad. That's the right answer.
What would you have said? What's your second priority?
Well, no, my first priority is being a husband. You can't trick me.
No, that's why I literally just said, what's your second priority?
Second, being a good son. Yeah.
Okay, we're taking this too far.
Okay, we're taking it too far. Being a good husband.
Okay, my other A+ has been training for Spartan. I'm taking it very seriously.
So you're getting an A in gym class.
I'm getting an A in gym class.
Health and fitness.
Yeah, and maybe like a B+ in improv right now.
Hey, good job.
Okay, I got a question for you, Jeff.
Ask me anything.
Oh no, I'm torn between two questions. I'm gonna ask the more gruesome one. I feel like the audience has been waiting for this.
A gruesome one?
Yeah. Worst injury you've had as a child?
As a child?
Yeah.
I mean, the one that stands out is like catching a Frisbee in the mouth and then having half of my tooth replaced. That's fake.
Frisbee?
Yeah. I tried to catch a Frisbee. My dentist was asking me about it the other day.
Really?
They're like, what is that? Can I ask what happened? Because like as a child, it was like a significant part of my tooth. But now it's just a tiny little corner. Because I was like, it was my first adult tooth and I immediately tried to catch a Frisbee like a dog.
I can't. Wait, you were purposely trying to catch it with your mouth.
I like to say that, but no, I just have bad hand-eye coordination for a 7-year-old. So, well, thank you so much for tuning in to our Next Job Now podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the show, leave a rating, and share it with someone who's looking to update their resume. You can grab a free template, some free resources, all on Greg's website, greglangstaff.com. Join us next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye.